The elderly woman's trembling voice broke through the thick silence of the grand living room. "My arms are tired," she pleaded, her eyes glistening as she looked at her son's fiancée, a woman of cold elegance who had never known hardship. Just then, the millionaire, her son, rushed in. But what could have possibly led to such a cry? Let me take you back. Aisha was 71 years old, a frail woman who had spent her entire life working with her hands. She was widowed at a young age and had raised her only son, Imran, on her own. Her arms had carried bundles of laundry, trays of food, sacks of grain, whatever work the neighbors would pay her for, just to keep her boy fed and educated. Those arms, tired and wrinkled now, were the reason Imran had become a man of immense success. He was a millionaire businessman, admired for his intelligence and ambition, but deep inside, he had drifted far from the sacrifices that had shaped his life. When Imran announced he was engaged to Zara, a woman from an influential family, Aisha had tried her best to smile. Zara was beautiful, sophisticated, and came from money that dwarfed even Imran's fortune. But Aisha could feel Zara's disdain for her. Every glance, every dismissive smile, every moment Zara avoided her presence made it clear. Aisha was a burden, an embarrassment. As the wedding preparations began, Zara's coldness grew sharper. She insisted on high society rituals, luxury banquets, designer dresses. Whenever Aisha timidly suggested something simple, something from the traditions of her own youth, Zara would brush it aside. "We can't have people think we are peasants," she once said, right in front of Aisha, and Imran had only looked down in silence. That silence cut deeper than any insult. One afternoon, while the house buzzed with wedding planners and decorators, Aisha sat alone in her corner of the house, folding napkins just to feel useful. Her hands shook from age, but she smiled through it. Then Zara walked in, her voice sharp. "Why are you still holding those? We have staff for this." Aisha tried to explain softly, "I just want to help, my arms feel restless if I do nothing." Zara scoffed, "Restless? Or desperate to act like you belong in a place like this?" It was in that moment of humiliation that Aisha whispered, broken-hearted, "My arms are tired, not just from folding napkins, not just from age, but from carrying a life where love and sacrifice were returned with indifference." Those arms had built the very man Zara was about to marry. Imran, who had just entered from the doorway, froze when he heard those words. His heart twisted. He had been so caught up in wealth, in appearances, in Zara's glittering world, that he had forgotten the weight his mother had carried. For the first time in years, he saw her not as a quiet shadow in his life but as the very foundation of everything he had. "Ami," his voice cracked as he rushed toward her, kneeling beside her chair. He held her frail hands, kissed them again and again. "Your arms are not tired alone. They gave me everything I have. Forgive me for not seeing your pain." Zara rolled her eyes, muttering under her breath, "This is embarrassing." But Imran turned, his eyes burning with a strength she had never seen in him. "Embarrassing? The only shame here is forgetting the woman who made me who I am. If you can't respect her, then you don't respect me." The room fell into silence. Zara scoffed, but this time, Imran didn't bend. He stood tall, pulling his mother up gently by her arms, as if she were the most precious jewel he owned. He announced to the planners and guests nearby, "There will be no wedding until my mother feels honored in this house. Wealth means nothing if it costs me her blessing." Zara's face paled. She stormed out, furious, her pride wounded beyond repair. But Imran felt strangely lighter, as though he had set down a burden far heavier than wealth or reputation. In the weeks that followed, he cancelled the extravagant wedding and planned a smaller one, this time with Aisha at the center of every decision. The traditions she loved filled the air with warmth. The community, the same neighbors who had once watched her toil and hardship, came to celebrate. And when Imran finally found a partner, someone who valued simplicity, kindness, and family above status, Aisha's tired arms were filled not with work but with love. The story of Imran and his mother spread far beyond their city, not because he was a millionaire, but because he remembered that true riches come from honoring the hands that raised you. So if you're listening now, ask yourself, whose arms carried you when you couldn't walk on your own? Whose sacrifices built the life you stand on? Don't wait until their voices tremble with exhaustion to recognize their worth, because one day, you too will realize wealth fades, power fades, but a mother's tired arms carry the weight of eternity.